Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and let's go over one more time why you might need retention after phase one treatment. And that really depends on what you did. What did you do? What was the diagnosis? What were the mechanics? How did they start? And how did you finish them? So let's talk about all the reasons we do phase one. Why do we do phase one treatment? Maybe we're fixing constricted arches. Maybe we're fixing narrow arches. Maybe we're improving airway. Maybe we're fixing vertical issues like deep bites or open bites or habits. Maybe we're fixing AP issues like a small upper jaw. And maybe we did some expansion and some type of tandem or some type of face mask to grow the upper arch, grow the maxilla. Maybe we have a small lower jaw, and maybe we did some growth modification like Invisalign with MA or twin block therapy. So certain types of movements are stable, assuming you got to keep in mind that there is some muscle memory. So there's always going to be a little relapse on a growth modification, especially anything involving muscles. So if you do a class 2 correction and a twin block or an MA, yeah, you're going to relapse 20-30% usually. But that'll usually show up in the first few months after you do it, the muscle memory. So we do a little deprogramming, we take a look, and so you wouldn't even be going into the retention until after that relapse happened. It should be stable after that. You can always take a Ceph to compare your initial Ceph numbers, your SNB, to your current SNB, and that'll show you that the bones actually grew. So that shouldn't need retention beyond just holding it, which is just standard. Let's see, vertical. Open bite corrections are stable, assuming you got rid of all the habits, which most people screw up and don't get rid of all the habits. If they don't use myofunctional therapy and all that goes in ENT and everything goes around with it, yeah, those usually do relapse. Although there's not a lot of retention that's going to help it. The retention would be getting the ENT and OMT that's needed. So retainers really aren't going to help that much with that because the tongue and the muscles and the mouth breathing and all that are way stronger than any retainer. So deep bites, again, this is something you need to overcorrect a little bit. You'll have a tiny bit of relapse, but once you actually correct it, assuming you weren't doing so much intrusion of the incisors and you were doing more relative extrusion of molars and premolars, that should be pretty stable if you did it properly and didn't rush it. Transverse expansion is always held for 3 months. So assuming you did it properly and realize that you'll get a little bit of relapse on transverse expansion and you held it for 3 months, you shouldn't have any more relapse. So none of those should need retention, assuming you held it the proper amount and did the mechanics properly. So the only other thing that might need, I mean, there's always other one-offs, is if you had a slight class 2 or a slight class 3 case and you weren't able to fully correct it and you're relying on some E-space, I have a lot of videos about that, then you could put in a Nance on top or a TPA on top or a lingual arch on lower for class 3 cases. That you might need. Lastly, if you just did like some expansion in 2x4s, space consolidation in front, and you're just trying to avoid impacting canines, that's where you might need retention. Or if you just did some expansion and some initial alignment and you think the parents are going to get upset if the front teeth get a little bit more crooked after you straightened them, I mean, they will if you don't put retention in, but usually most people address that in phase 2. But sometimes if you do like an amazing job on phase 1, you don't need phase 2. So it's nice if you think you have enough space and you really think there's a small chance you won't need phase 2, it's nice to do retention because then at least can't promise, but you're more likely not to need phase 2. If you don't do any retention, you'll definitely be needing phase 2 of some sort. So that's where you can do your thorough, your bonded retainers, or a modified lingual or palatal arch with these little like cleats to help keep it together, or a phase 1 Holly, or an eruptive guidance preformed conditioner, positioner, not conditioner. That's what that would be for. And certainly if your canines were high and they're not about to break through the bone and the tissue, then you definitely would want to do some type of retention, because if you do that, these incisors that you just consolidated here to make space for those canines are just going to spread back out into the space you created. That is where you do need retention in those type of circumstances, always, every time, upper and lower. Otherwise, all that work you did, you're just gonna have to do all over again. Hopefully that was helpful. So anyways, what it comes down to is each case is unique. There's no set answer. You got to evaluate each case. That's something we'd be glad to help you with one-on-one. We offer this support with our Straightsmile Solutions programs. Whether you get a membership program for all your cases or you just need help with one case, we have those available at straightsmilesolutions.com. Otherwise, if you want free, we still let our YouTube videos are still free and we're still adding them every day. All right, thanks so much.